Hi, very good morning, students. Yesterday we were talking regarding the Kp and Kc relation, okay, and how to write the formulas with respect to that. Today we are going to deal regarding the what are the characteristic properties of the equilibrium constant. Means we know that equilibrium constant it depends on what factors, it does not depend on what factors. That we will be learning in this video. Moreover, and there will be a problem solution of the on Kp as well as Kc. If you are good at all the models, whatever I am going to tell in this lecture, you will be solving all the questions even for mains as well as the advanced. Right? Let us go into the topic, students. So, characteristics of equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant means it is Ke. Ke can be written as two types. One is with respect to concentration, it is called as Kc, and with respect to pressures, it is called as Kp. And the equilibrium constant does not depend upon the initial concentration of the reactants. How much you take the initial concentration, the equilibrium constant will be getting. No, equilibrium constant of when you will be getting after the disintegration of the reactants. At one particular point, you will be getting the equilibrium constant. That equilibrium constant that will not depend upon the initial concentration of the reactants. How much you take, the quantity of reactants, how much you take, that equilibrium constant will not depend upon the amount of the initial concentration of the reactants. Right? I hope that you are getting. See, yesterday itself I have mentioned one relation N2 plus 3H2. You take this one as 5 moles, this one as 6 moles, and you will be getting this one. So that equilibrium constant will be getting at particular instant. Okay, that ratio will be constant, right? But the amount, whatever you are taking initially, it will not depend upon the amount of the reactants. Next, it does not depend upon the presence of the catalyst. So equilibrium constant can be attained very fastly if you have catalyst. Okay. But nothing happens, right? The equilibrium constant, whatever that you have obtained, it will not get changed. The equilibrium constant will be same. If you use the catalyst, the attainment may be fast, but it is not depending upon the amount. The equilibrium constant value will not change. It will attain that value very fastly. Okay? And no effect of inert materials. What is meant by inert? Inert means it is nothing but inactive. So it doesn't depend upon the materials which are inert. Okay? Next, these are the factors on which the equilibrium constant will not depend. Now we are going to deal with respect to the contents on which the equilibrium constant will depend. Okay. Now it depends upon the mode of the representation of the reaction. See, the way of representing the reaction will be different. Right. Let me take, this is one type. Mode of representation we can totally categorize into three types. This is of writing one type. So A plus B, it is in equilibrium with C. If the equilibrium constant for this reaction, this reversible reaction, it is K, then this is one more reaction, C is in equilibrium with A plus B. Then what will be the equilibrium constant for this reaction? Okay, this is the mode of representation of one reaction. The equilibrium constant has been represented for this one, it is as K, and he is asking what is the equilibrium constant for this reaction. Okay, now what I am doing is I am writing this one, KE1 will be equal to K. These two are equal. It has been represented, right? So what you can write? You can write it as concentration of the products by concentration of the reactants. So you will be getting concentration of C by concentration. So concentration of A into concentration of B. This is what the first equation it is telling for us. And if you write Ke double prime as the second equation, what happens? You should be writing concentration of A, concentration of B by concentration of C. Okay, you are getting this because concentration of the products by concentration of the reactants. This is what we are getting. So this can be written in one more way. If you send these two into the denominator, what happens? 1 by concentration of C by concentration of A into concentration of B. This is the same, right? This one you can write this equation in this form or in this form also, because anyhow these two will go to the numerator, again it will become the same. And we know that concentration of C by concentration of A into B, this one, this content is equal to K. Right. So instead of this, I am writing it as K. So it is equal to 1 by, this entire thing is K. So Ke double prime will be equal to 1 by K. So for this one, it is answer will be 1 by K. The reaction has been reversed. So whatever the equilibrium constant you are getting here, this one will be equal to 1 by K. So I hope that you understood this. So let us take one more example. One more method. This is one type of method and this one is one more method. So A plus B is converting into C plus D. For this equation, the K equilibrium has been represented with K. Now, N moles of A plus N moles of B, it is getting converted into N moles of C plus N moles of D. What is the equilibrium constant for this reaction? Okay, getting the students. Now for this you write K equilibrium for the first one. K equilibrium prime is equal to K is equal to concentration of C, concentration of D, products concentration by reactants concentration, concentration of A, concentration of B. This is one set. Okay, and going for K double E prime, this one. For this what you will be writing? Concentration of C whole to the power n, concentration of D whole to the power n, concentration of A whole to the power n, and concentration of B whole to the power n. This is the way of writing. Okay, and this power you can take it as in the entire way. You take n as the common, concentration of C, concentration of D by concentration of A into concentration of B whole to the power n, because all it is having only one power, right? So it is n. So and you know this entire thing, concentration of C, concentration of D, concentration of A, concentration of B, this entire thing is K. So if you write K whole to the power n, so K double E prime will be equal to K power n. Okay students, I hope that you are getting this right. By using this methodology, so this is one methodology. Based on this I am giving you one example. Try to write in this pattern and solve it. I am mentioning answer here. Okay, check whether you have done is right or not. See, N2 plus O2, it is getting converted into 2NO. How you will write for this K prime? NO square by N2 whole power 1, O2 power 1, you will be writing, that is equal to K. And you write the equilibrium constant for this reaction, 2N2 plus 2O2, it is in equilibrium with 4NO gas. So Kc double prime, you calculate that, make the relation between these two, so that the answer will be Kc double prime will be equal to K square. Okay, here N is there, so you are getting this one. This one same reaction in this model itself, you will be getting square. So once you solve in this pattern, so that you will be getting a clarity over how to write this equation. Okay students, and one more method. So take one more question regarding this one only. So 2SO2, solve this. 2SO2 plus O2 in gas state, it is getting converted into 2SO3. Ke prime. So equilibrium constant for this reaction, it has been represented with K. Right? Next, in this equation, SO2 plus half O2 given rise to SO3 Ke double prime. What is the equilibrium constant? So the above problem how you are doing, do for this also the same process. Finally the answer will be Ke double prime will be equal to K whole power half. That is one method. So we have talked two methods. One is reversing the reaction. One is you are increasing the stoichiometric coefficients. So those two. And third methodology, this one, A is converted to B. Means A is in equilibrium with B. The equilibrium constant is Ke1. Okay, Ke1 is K1. X is reversible with Y. So Ke double prime is equal to K2. Now A plus X is in equilibrium with B plus Y. What is the equilibrium constant for this? Okay. Now take the condition Ke1 is equal to K1. What is this? Concentration of the products by concentration of the reactants. So concentration of product is B, concentration of reactant is A. So this is first equation. Write this equation. Ke double prime is equal to K2 is equal to concentration of products Y, concentration of X. It is the reactant. So you are getting second equation. Write the third equation. Ke double prime, concentration of the products, concentration of B into concentration of Y by concentration of A into concentration of X. Okay, and you know B by A is K1, Y by X it is K2. So if you product this one K1 into K2, so that you will be getting Ke double prime. Once you open the material, whatever that is with you, I hope that you are having the PDF of chemical equilibrium, and try to solve the questions whatever in this pattern, these three models, this model as well as this one as well as this model, right students, this model, whatever the questions are there, you try to solve that. Now let us take one more question which has come in the examination in IIT 2006. So here there is Ag plus, okay, it is reacting with NH3, it is in equilibrium with Ag NH3 whole power 1, the Ke prime means the K1 for this reaction, it has been given as 3.5 into 10 power minus 3. Okay, second equation Ag NH3 plus NH3, it is in equilibrium with Ag NH3 whole taken twice whole to the power plus K2 value is this one. Okay, what is asking? Find the formation constant for Ag NH3 taken twice whole to the power plus. Means what is asking? He should form, means this is the formation, this one should be formed. How it will be formed? Suppose if you add these two, what happens? Ag plus is there, so Ag plus will be getting ammonia. How many are there? 2 ammonias are there, 2 ammonias are there. Here see here, this one AgNH3 on the product side, this one is on the reactant side. So you can cancel these two if you sum up these two. So this one will be cancelled. So what will be on the product side? So AgNH3 whole taken twice plus 2. Okay, this is 2 whole power plus 1. See again I am repeating. He is asking the formation constant for the AgNH3. So this should be formed. This should be in the product side. Okay, formation. This is formed. It is formed from what? Means Ag plus 2NH3. How we are getting this equation? Suppose we want this one in the product side. Automatically this is in the product side, so that I am getting in the product side. I am summing up Ag plus this one Ag plus NH3 NH3 2NH3. Whatever this is present on the product side, this is on the reactant side will be cancelled, so that I will be getting this one. So question is find the formation. Here it is formed. From where it is formed? It is formed from Ag plus 2NH3. So if you write the equilibrium constant for this reaction, what it happens? So net equilibrium constant will be equal to AgNH3 whole power plus this one by reactance concentration Ag plus NH3 taken twice. And if you write this one K1 will be equal to AgNH3 plus by Ag plus NH3. If you go for K2, AgNH3 taken twice whole power plus reactants are AgNH3 plus into NH3. This one. You do between these two operations, so that you will be getting this one. So what you will be doing? Suppose if you multiply, what happens? This numerator, this denominator will be cancelled. Suppose I am doing K1 into K2. If I do K1 into K2, this numerator it is present here, here it is in denominator. These two will be cancelled. So that what I will be getting? AgNH3 taken twice whole power plus by Ag plus NH3 into NH3. So that it becomes NH3 whole power 2. So that is what we are having here. So we are getting this one by multiplying these two. So you do some operation between these two, so that you should get this one. Okay, here if I do multiplication, I am getting this one. So I am producting these two K1 and K2. So K1 and K2. What is the K1 value? It is 3.5 into 10 power minus 3. What is K2 value? 1.7 into 10 power minus 3. Suppose if I take the common value, 2 10 power minus 6, it will be common. 3.5 into 1.7, it becomes approximately 6.08 into 10 power minus 6. So answer will be B. Okay students. So in the same way we are having continuously problems now. You first pause the video and try to solve that questions. If you are able to get the answer, you are very good. And if you are unable to do that, once you go through the solution and check where you are doing mistakes, so that you will be getting clarity over the content. Okay. See, we have written the mode of representation. What we are learning till now? We are learning that on what factors the equilibrium constant will be depending, or on what factors the equilibrium constant is not depending. Already we know the 3 factors it is not depending, and 2 factors it is depending. One is the mode of representation of the equation. We have written in that mode 3 types. Okay, one is reversing the reaction, one is increasing the stoichiometric coefficients, and one is summing up all the reactions so that to get the net resultant reaction. Okay, one more content is mode of reaction is one content and the temperature is one content. Equilibrium constant is constant for a given reaction at a given temperature. So at a particular constant, the equilibrium constant will be the same. It will not be changing. And it has been given with the equation. Don't bother about how you got this equation. This equation you will be getting in thermodynamics. Okay. With respect to enthalpy, all you will be getting there we will be learning. First, for this chapter, this is important. So log K2 by K1 is equal to delta H by 2.303 R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. K2 is the equilibrium constant measured at temperature T2. K1 it is measured at temperature T1. Here T2 is greater than T1, it is just measured. Okay, temperature K2 is measured. Delta H is enthalpy of the reaction. Enthalpy of the reaction means either the amount of heat, either it is liberated or absorbed. Okay. Delta H is the amount of heat, it may be liberated or absorbed. If it is liberated, it is called as exothermic reaction. If it is absorbed, it is called as endothermic reaction. Okay. So, simply by looking at the equation, we can't conclude that K2 increases. Here we know that T2 is greater than T1, means temperature is higher for T2. Can we say that K2 is greater than K1 now? We can't say. We can't directly say that if T2 is greater than T1, K2 is greater than T1. We can't conclude that. That's what you are telling here. But whether K2 is greater than K1 or K2 is less than K1 can be determined only if you know the value of delta H. Okay. Simply by increasing the temperature, the K2 will not be increased. By increasing the temperature, we should know the value. To know whether among these two which is greater, we should know the value of delta H. Then only we can conclude whether K2 is greater or K1 is greater. So we can't conclude just by taking K2 increases with temperature or decreases with the temperature. We can't say directly, but because it is depending upon the value of delta H. So let us go into the conditions, how it is increased or how it is decreased. Suppose if I take delta H is equal to 0, means it is not absorbing, it is not liberating energy. Then what happens if I keep 0 here? Entire thing will become 0, 0 by 0, 0 into 0 something. You will be getting all the 0 here. So log K2 by K1 will be equal to 0. Log 0 means, so if I remove the log, it becomes 1. Log 0, 1, right? So that K2 by K1 will be equal to 1. You are removing the log, right? This one will be going. It becomes 10 power 0. Anything to the power 0, it is 1. Okay, if you send K1 this side, then what it indicates? K2 is equal to K1. So if delta H is equal to 0, if you increase the temperature or decrease the temperature, K2 will be equal to K1, means K is constant. Among these two, you can't predict whether which is greater or which is lower. So whenever the delta H value is 0, you can't predict whether K2 is greater or K1 is greater. This is the condition when delta H is equal to 0, because it is not a endothermic reaction or exothermic reaction. Now let us take one more condition. If delta H is negative means the energy is liberated. Then that type of reactions are called as exothermic reactions. Then log K2 by K1. Negative means what does it indicate? It is less than 0. Okay, 0 will be greater when compared to this one, log K2 by K1. So you are getting negative this side. You are getting negative means this one is equal to negative. This entire value will be less than 0. This is the condition. So what happens? If you remove the log, you will be getting K1 here. Here you will be getting 1. Okay. So what happens? K2 by K1 will be less than 1. K1 if you send that side, it becomes K2 is less than K1. Okay. If you increase the temperature, K2 is what here? It is decreased. If temperature is increased, this is the condition. Temperature increased, but K2 is decreased because it is less than 1 when delta H is negative. So even though the temperature is increased, the delta H value will be less than 1, less than the initial equilibrium constant. When it is an exothermic reaction, means the delta H value is negative. Suppose if you go for one more type of reaction, like let me take the endothermic reaction where the delta H is positive. Delta H, this is the entire thing is positive, means this one is greater than 0. Okay. So log K2 by K1 will be greater than 0. So that if you remove the log, it will be equal to K2 by K1 is greater than 1. Then K2 will be K2 by K1 is greater than 1. If you send K1 that side to the RHS side, what happens? K2 is greater than K1. Temperature is increased. Now K is also increased. When? If delta H is positive. Right, students, you are getting? So these are the three conditions. So whether K2 is greater than K1 or K2 is less than K1 or K2 is equal to K1. It is determined not by the temperature. It is determined only by delta H value. If you know the delta H value, then if you increase the temperature, then you can predict whether equilibrium constant K2 is greater or K1 is greater, or both are equal. So when delta H is equal to 0, both the equilibrium constants are same. When the delta H is negative, then K2 is less than K1. When delta H is positive, K2 is greater than K1 if you increase the temperature. Right? In this condition, that is delta H is 0, if you increase or decrease the temperature, nothing is same here. See, if it is exothermic reaction, if you increase the temperature, K is decreasing. If you decrease the temperature, what happens? K will be increasing. Okay, getting this? Exothermic reaction, you are increasing the temperature. So what happened? K value decreased. Suppose if you decrease the temperature here, what happens to the K value? It will be increased. In this condition, delta H is positive. If you are increasing the temperature, K is increasing. If you decrease the temperature, what happens? K will be decreasing. Okay, here directly proportional, here indirectly proportional, here no proportionality. So if I represent this one in the form of graph, log K with respect to temperature. So at this temperature, log K value is this one. At this temperature, log K value is this one. At this temperature, log K value is this one. At this temperature, log K value is this one. Means, if you see here, temperature. See, let me plot like this. This is T1, T2. Among T1 and T2, which is greater? Automatically T2 is greater, because if you go like this, T2 is greater. Okay, temperature is going on increasing. So what happens to K1? K value. K value, if you go in this pattern, it is going on increasing. Temperature increasing, K increasing. So which type of reaction this one? Temperature increasing, K is increasing. So this is endothermic reaction. So this is the graph for endothermic. So now the log K value is this one. Temperature is 0. temperature is increased, log K value is decreased, temperature is increased, log K value is decreased, temperature is increased, log K value is means temperature is increasing, K value is decreasing. So what type of reaction? This is exothermic reaction. So this is the graph for exothermic reaction and this is the graph for the endothermic reaction. So up to here for this video, we'll be stopping here, students. We'll be continuing in the next lecture with respect to the problems. So let me write here, this is exothermic reaction graph and this is endothermic reaction graph. Okay, students, thank you.